Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Emily and welcome back to my channel where I review, critique, and summarize scary children's books. How are you guys? Hope you are well. I hope you're having a good December so far and a good holiday season so far if you do celebrate the holidays every December. Today in this video, I am going to be talking about Monster School. This is a children's book of poetry written by Kate Coombs and illustrated by Lee Gatlin, and this was published in summer of this year by Chronicle Books, so it is a recent-ish publication. In this video, as always, I am going to summarize the book for you, followed by a very brief book review, as well as my numerical ratings for this book. So for this book, since it's poetry, I'm going to be rating writing and language, personal, and scares. So stick around until the end of the video if you want to see those. So Monster School is pretty easy to summarize. It is a book of short poetry written all about the various students and various activities that go on at Monster School. These include poems about homework, bullying, being shy, being lonely, sports, teachers, the science fair, you name it. And because this is Monster School, all of the poems have a spooky twist. So this was a great read for me. I loved pretty much every poem in this book. The poems are well written, the use of language and imagery and meter and all of those good poetry things is really top notch. Kate Coombs is obviously a very seasoned writer for children, and it's just nice to read something written by an author that is obviously so confident and so comfortable with what they are doing. The whole book seems really self-assured, and I really like that because you can just kind of sit back and relax and let the book take you on a journey. Some of my favorite poems include Gargoyle. It's about a gargoyle student that is lonely and feels isolated from their peers. There's a great poem called Science Fair Sonnet about a student that is entering the science fair and doing all of these Frankenstein-esque experiments. My personal favorite poem is called Homework, and that's the one that I want to share with you guys. So let me just find it here. All right, and homework, stupid homework. I'm supposed to catch a newt and write a 3-page essay on the Dragon Institute. Homework, dumb old homework. I've got to make a graph about the history of witches and write an epitaph. Homework, boring homework. I have to create a curse and then make a model skeleton and write a 10-line verse. I ought to do my homework. Instead, I watch TV and play 8 games of Vampire World and snooze repeatedly. My teacher's going to kill me. Last time, that's what she said. But I'm just not that worried because I'm already dead. So you guys get the idea. Something that I really like about Monster School is that it feels really updated and relevant to the kids that are going to be reading it today. So for example, there are video games mentioned in the homework poem that I just read. There's another poem with a student basically casting spells through computer hacking. A lot of children's spooky stories actually draw on things like Gothicism and fairy tales so often and so much that technology can be a little bit of a blind spot when it comes to books like this. Oftentimes it's just not mentioned, or somehow the characters just don't have a connection to Wi-Fi or lose their phones or something like that. And the use of computers and technology, video games, etc. is a huge part of being a kid in our society today, right? Kids are going to school to learn basic coding. They are going to school and using apps in the classroom. Even really young kids, like picture books like this, are actually being made into apps now. So it's nice to see some spooky literature for children that sits really nicely in that kind of sweet spot between being able to talk about this kind of technology and bring up some of the things that are really relevant to kids these days, and actually still drawing on Gothicism and fairy tales, folk tales, modes, and storytelling traditions that traditionally do not use or have the use of technology in them, computer technology anyway. So I really appreciated that all the way through this book, and I actually think it's one of the biggest reasons to pick this up if you have a kid in your life that likes spooky stories and scary stories. And actually, my only resistance when it comes to Monster School is that there does seem to be an adherence to some gender stereotypes when it comes to these STEM-centric poems. There has obviously been an effort on both the author and the illustrator's part to make this book diverse and inclusive. So for example, I would say maybe even more than half of the human students illustrated in this book are students of color. So I think the book really succeeds in that regard in showing a very diverse and inclusive portrayal of students at school. I just wish that some of the STEM-focused poems featured girls, especially because a lot of the poems that are about girls and about girl students have to do with their physical attributes or what people think of them sort of on a surface level. So for example, they are the girl that everybody has a crush on, or there's one student that's like Medusa, so the poem is about her hair. So the only way I would actually change this book is just to give the girl characters a little more to do, especially when it comes to STEM-focused stuff. But that being said, on the scale of kids' books that are really trying to do better in terms of these things, Monster School is really hitting it out of the park. I love the focus on students and teachers of color. I love the effort to portray shy kids as well as outgoing kids, and sporty kids, and sciencey kids, and kids that don't love school, kids who are lonely, kids who feel isolated. So for those reasons, I really appreciate this. And finally, it wouldn't be an Emily book talk if I didn't like rave about the illustrations, right? This is such a gorgeous book with like beautiful artwork. There's a ton to look at on every page. I love these like awesome characters. They're so expressive. I love what the illustrator has done in terms of color. So there's a lot of use of fall colors, Halloween colors. I love this page with these girls hanging out and with our Medusa character here. And I love the fact that she has a snake that's kind of like hissing at a boy walking behind her. It's really cool. And fun little Easter egg, if you look really closely at this red notebook here, I don't know if you guys can see that at all, but it has that like funny S thing that everybody drew in grade school on it. Lee Gatlin for sure is in tune with the fact that like for some reason just every kid draws that at some point. Cool guys. So with all of that in mind, I am going to give Monster School an 8 out of 10 for writing and language. This is a very well written book, very confidently written. Really appreciate that. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 for scares. This isn't a book that's meant to scare you at all. It's more so just engaging with some spooky themes. But I did give it that 5 just because there are some images of zombie-like kids with like various like gory things going on. So if you have a kid that doesn't really like that kind of stuff, they might not enjoy some of the illustrations in this book. Finally, I'm going to give this a personal score of 9 out of 10. This is an absolutely wonderful book, and I am going to be singing its praises to everyone. All right, guys, so that is it for my book talk today. Thank you as always for watching and for sticking with me through the Christmas season. And guys, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a like and let me know if you've read Monster School or if you have any other like favorite kids spooky poetry as well. Like, let me know. And if you're new here, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. I will be here doing scary kids book reviews and videos like this. And if you want to follow me on social media as well, the links are in the description below. All right, guys, well, that is all she wrote. So I will talk to you very soon and happy reading.